It's al-Orq time! And welcome back once again to Crusader Kings III as we play the al-Orq Dynasty in the Orc Horde, and we grow and we prosper. Soon enough, my friends, we shall begin maybe doing some fighting. Last episode, wow, we had quite a lot happen, didn't we? I think the biggest event was the very last thing that occurred. Our first child was born, Vahid. And so we finally have a player heir of our own. Hopefully he turns out to be pretty great, but also I fully intend on having a lot more children. We should have as many, kind of get them popping out. We're gonna build up a huge army, and it'll be generational. We'll have our future brothers and sisters be our own officers. Maybe they'll betray each other, they'll kill each other. Who knows what happens? Anything is possible here. So I was taking a look around, and I think the first thing I want to do is grab this 40 gold by using our weak hook. So there we go. And where we're going to immediately use that for is grabbing our first men-at-arms regiment. We are going to get a regiment of IR. These are heavy infantrymen, and I just want to kind of point out their stats here. They've got 35 damage, 31 and some change in the toughness stat, and 12 in pursuit. Pursuit is a stat that affects how many casualties the enemy forces will take. So they're really, really good, and they are a regional... Right, so, sorry, a cultural, I guess, yeah, regional, cultural, kind of the same thing here. They are a cultural unit. It's something that's, I think, only available either only to Persians or to, just a few different cultures within the same part of the world. But yeah, there we go. And so as we see here, as adventurer characters, we do not automatically restore our men-at-arms like landed characters do. We have to manually restore them, and that's kind of the trade-off of playing as an unlanded adventurer. So to refill your men-at-arms, you can either pay with gold, and it looks like here, if we spent the 40 gold that we have remaining, it would not be enough to get everybody fully built up. We would have 80 soldiers out of the possible 100, or you can use provisions, and I think I might actually do that. But first, before I do, there is, I think, something we can do with an interaction at the castle. Let's see, yeah, perhaps those scruffy Persian soldiers could be of use. Here, we now have a new interaction for getting reinforcements. So let's have a look at this event. The tent camp at the edge of Shiraz Farsi is filled to the brim with soldiers and combatants, big and small, of various cultures but mainly Persians. They are gathered in groups, most of them scowling and looking around as if searching for a way out of their misery. I keep going until I find an imposing man who just finished yelling at a couple of scarred combatants, and he eyes me suspiciously. Because of my fame, my level of fame here, I could say, ride with me, the prominent boss Faraz. Who is this guy? Artavan. He's 36. He's a bit slow, apparently. He's a terrible fighter, terrible in just about every stat, except he's apparently a decent military commander, despite being a misguided warrior. So he's a bold maniac, I guess. Yeah, not very good. I don't want him. But what I could say here, spend 506 provisions and a random men-at-arms regiment becomes fully restored. Well, that would actually be cheaper than just doing it the standard way, so I think I'm actually just going to do that. There we go. And I think now that means, yep, as we see here, our first men-at-arms regiment is fully reinforced now, and we have an army of 110. That's our new professional soldiers there, as well as our champions, our knights. So that's pretty awesome. Alright, let's take a look at the guys here. Another character named Ardahan. He's thankfully a lot better, but still not particularly great. And then Rustam, who's also just terrible at everything, just like the other guy. Also slow. That's kind of interesting there. Let's go ahead and just move on. There's not a whole lot else to do. Aishan, ooh, a vixen. So she is she's got a military education, interestingly. All around average or just below average stats. Her learning is pretty bad. She's deceitful and ambitious, otherwise not too great. Let's take a look at the stories here. I think, yeah, let's go ahead and get the experience and wit. How close are we to getting the first level in that? Oh, we got it. Nice. We got it. It looks like right on the money. So that increases our diplomacy by 1. Very cool. Okay. Anyone over here worth recruiting? That guy just had a visual glitch with his hair pop up for a second. Whoa! We have a genius here. Shahrukh Karawan. He's apparently of a noble house here. Vex not the ox is their motto there. But yeah, he's a genius, an herbalist, a wise man, an insightful thinker, and he has 29 in learning there. Otherwise, the stats are, either average or below average. Yeah, he's not a bad guy. I don't really know what we would use him for because we already have a camp physician. We've got Befrav here, who only really has intrigue as a good stat there. And then we've got Manushir here, not Menusir, it's Manushir, who's a lunatic, a witch, a torturer. I almost feel like I've seen this guy before. Have we seen this guy before? Or maybe it was someone similar. But yeah, that seems kind of familiar there. He's actually pretty good. 22 learning, 18 intrigue, and 15 prowess. He's sadistic, arbitrary, and diligent. How much is he? 72 gold. We absolutely cannot afford that. Let's get the hell out of here. Oh, actually, wait, nope. There was one last thing that I could do. Let's get some supplies. And let's go ahead and get the intimidation. Oh, and it didn't work. She sees through our empty threats, and thus prices are increased for 3 months. Unfortunate. Okay. We cannot gather provisions. When is that going to be available? Another 2 years from now. Okay, so that's not going to be an option. And I suppose all that's left to do is get some jobs done. I think, let's go ahead and do the fight corruption job, just because those tend to be really fast, and looks like we can get quite a bit of money from this. I will just go and do this myself. No chance of danger happening here, which is nice. We don't need that. Alright, silence your people or die. Let's keep going. I like it when it's this quick and easy. Alright, so we're gonna definitely change our route there. I feel like we already did this. We already did this, didn't we? Okay, interesting. Not entirely sure how that happened, but might as well just capitalize on it twice. Why not? We excelled at the job. I think we can just skip through that. But this is new. A band of 2. Passing through a back alley in Artistan, I see a lonely child and her dog sitting in a corner behind a small wall. Here you go, Valor. She tells it as she hands it a small piece of bread, keeping none for herself. Looking at the two, clearly the dog has been taken much better care of than its owner. The kid must be giving it everything she can find. So, let's see, how do I pronounce that name? Turandukt. She's just and otherwise just has her childhood trait, and she's pensive. Alright. So I could give her some food that would, just toss some gold her way, get 50 piety and kind ruler for 5 years. That increases general opinion and child opinion. I could say I don't have time for filthy orphans. I could take the dog from her. Oh, God. Heartless for 5 years. General opinion. The pet dog. No. I'm going to exercise some executive action here. I'm not going to do that. That would be like me doing a renegade action in Mass Effect. I just can't stand it. I can't do that to my companions, and I cannot do that to a child. I'm just gonna say I don't have time for filthy orphans. There you go. I feel like that's a fair compensation. All right, there we go. Quarrelsome lot. All right, one way to resolve this against Binar and Yazid. Wow. All right, let's see what happens here. And Yazid wins, so Binar is going to have to treat her own wounds, and it looks like she already did. Good for her. She's getting more practice as a physician. I mean, that ultimately that benefits her, so it's a win-win as far as I can tell. Preying on travelers. Yep, we're just gonna speed right through. At this point, since we've seen all of these events, we can start really making some progress. And indeed, we got through, I think it was about 5 years in the last episode, so hopefully we can go even faster now. Closer quarters. Between the chaos of regularly moving sites and the coming and going of fresh faces every other town, there's plenty of time in the day for followers to find they have an unforeseen connection with someone new and unexpected. Judging from their shared in-jokes, past whispers, and occasional unsubtle sneaking away, this seems to be just the case with Naz and Erdogan. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh boy, is Naz cheating on Vahab with Erdogan? Oh, the plot thickens. None of my business, really. You know what? Let's see how that develops. I'm curious. Alright, we're just gonna go for the options that give us the best chance for success. What is this? Oh no. Alright. Oh, hang on. Naz is dead. Oh, well, hey, I guess we didn't have to wait very long to see the resolution of that plotline. Alright, give me a second. Rivals end. In the dead of night at our camp near As-Sus. As-Sus. I step out quietly. What was that sound? That's when I see it. My caravan master Vahab creeps up to my acquaintance Naz, who's resting by a dry bush. Seizing a rock, Vahab strikes Naz's head with lethal force, leaving no trace but a dark stain on the earth, although he's holding a knife here in his character model. Vahab quickly scans the area, unaware that I've seen everything. Alright, so... Cool. I guess he must have found out very, very quickly and just took matters into his own hands. Considering his personality traits, I mean, that feels entirely within character. Alright, so Naz is dead. She was murdered on at the age of 38. Unfortunate. So, because we have the sadistic trait, we can say, fascinating technique, and that just increases our intrigue by 2. And that's exactly how we're going to respond to that. Okay, there's 2 events that popped up here, so let's resolve this one first. A gruesome morning. By Allah, there has been a murder! Who would wish death upon our sensible Naz, and why were they so brutal? My champion Firduz continues, still being as cravenly as ever. Yes, indeed, who would ever dream of doing something like this to poor, innocent Naz, Vahab says. In the corner of my eye, I can see him holding back a chuckle. So... I could have Vahab kill Firduz. That would further increase my intrigue by another 1, and that would bring it up to 27, which is insane. That actually it's already better than my martial, which is crazy. I could say I saw Firduz skulk in the night, seize him. That would stress us out because we're brave. This is the telltale work of a boar, no doubt about it. And Firduz would lose opinion, Vahab would gain opinion, and a 50% chance that my intrigue goes up. You know, I've kind of gotten sick and tired of Firduz. I think Vahab is having some fun here. I think he's finally grown a pair, and he's figured it out. He's finally become one of us. And so, Firduz, unfortunately, your time has come. Shit, we're going to be late. Okay, that event keeps on happening. And Noor is pregnant once again. Oh, look at that. How lovely. All right, we'll see if she's able to carry the child to term. All right. There's only one way to resolve. This is getting tedious. Yazid gets wounded this time. Binar wins the fight. So now they're 1-1. Very nice. Charge these fools. All right. Just click through all of the stuff that we don't need to worry about. And there we go. A job well done. We visited the great city. Oh, so we actually visited Baghdad in the process of that. That's kind of cool. So we'll see how that affects our travels in the near future. Baghdad of times past, Passing through the gates of Baghdad, it is hard not to reflect on having reached the traditional center of the Arabic-speaking and Islamic world. Making my way through the city, I notice many ruins and old monuments. Eventually, I find myself by the cemeteries, among the tombs of caliphs and legal scholars of days long past. My court physician Binar remarks that these are men who knew a different Baghdad, almost unrecognizable today. Binar, you should have a hijab on, just so, in case you forgot, but, you know, whatever. I'm going to look the other way. So I could say it is worth thinking about how fragile life is. I wouldn't, because apparently that would stress me out. It's sort of like it seems to be a learning challenge of sorts. A chance that she could become our friend. This is a learning challenge here. I must know more about the city that once was. 56% chance we get lessons on rulership for 15 years. And that would not affect us because we don't have any vassals. Or I can just say, I will not waste any time in this place. Spend only as much time in Baghdad as necessary to prepare the continued journey, and we would lose stress because we're a traveler. So if we go with this option, yeah, nah, it just doesn't seem like something we would do. Let's just get out of here. Sorry, Binar. We'll come back. We'll have a proper visit soon enough. All right, Binar, treat him, and let's keep going. Aches and pains. Oof! I find myself making such noises when sitting down at the campfire in the evening now. The elders always talk about how that happens when you get older, but I'm only 25. No, such is the wear and tear of a life lived rough. I can see the toll it takes on the others, too. Shahabuddin winces a bit as he slumps down next to me. Well, he's 34, so I imagine his knees have probably given up on him long ago. So we could say that inn we passed had many spare beds, 15 gold to get rested and refreshed for 5 years, increase to prowess, small boost to health, and a reduction to our stress gain. We lose some stress, and that's everybody, so everyone will get that. And you know what? I think we go for it. Everyone's been working really hard. Just because I'm a sadistic son of a bitch does not mean I'm unreasonable, you know, when it suits me, of course. Okay, we make our way back. Thankfully, we did not encounter any other events in the process, and just as we returned, the pavilion finished. So what that unlocked here is we now have a medium boost to our health. We have a max number to our men-at-arms regiments, so we could immediately create another one, which we would probably end up doing because we've got quite a bit of cash. What else? It seems to reduce our scheme phase length, increases our provisions capacity, and we also have another slot that we can build to upgrade our camp with, which we're going to do immediately. Also increases our travel safety by a marginal amount. So, what do we construct here? We got the supply tent, which would unlock the quartermaster officer, and having the additional provisions capacity and supply capacity is really nice, but at the moment it's not really an issue. We've been doing pretty well with supplies, and I've not been close to running out at any point so far. But we'll definitely look into getting that in the future. There's the baggage train, so we could get a head porter, and that also affects provisions loss and supply capacity. Okay, travel speed as well. Can get an increase to our size in skirmisher regiments, which we don't have. We have a heavy infantry unit, but that's all right. Mess tent, chief cook. We could get a camp cook. We can get it substantially improves the gather provisions decision, so that could be really helpful. Increases our stress loss. Prowess scheme phase length is 5 days faster, so that could help out in some of the more hostile schemes, as well as the hired muscle stuff as well, or skills or contracts is what I'm trying to say that would require that. Proving grounds, we could get the Master of Arms officer, and I think we might actually do this because this increases the size of our men-at-arms regiments. So not only do we have 2 now, we could also further upgrade them and get more. All right, so I think that's probably what we're going to end up doing. Yeah, let's get the Proving Grounds. I think that makes the most amount of sense for our needs at the moment. Also, what happened to half of my army? What? Okay. Well, let's, I guess, refill them. Well, actually, let's go ahead and create a new one, and then we'll do that afterwards. So, I suppose it would probably be best for us to have a regiment of heavy infantry and then a regiment of bowmen. Or we could get the camel riders. They're an excellent unit to have as a desert-focused character because they get additional damage and toughness in desert terrain, in drylands, and in oases, as well as a little bit of a bonus in floodplains, whereas they don't do as well in hills, desert mountains, mountains, or in wetlands. You know, it makes sense. If they're a mounted unit, they're not going to do as well in mountains. And also, it goes without saying that camels aren't going to do too well in the wintertime. Not that it's going to be a big concern for us here, but if we ever travel somewhere where it snows regularly, then that's where it would be an issue. That being said, if we got the bowmen, they give us a damage bonus or terrain bonus in hills, forest, and taiga. Taiga we're not going to see too much throughout this campaign, but it is a thing that you can consider. So let me see. And then the IR, they don't have any specific terrain bonuses. So I think to round out our just kind of like our initial strengths and weaknesses, let's go ahead and get some bowmen. That makes the most sense to me. If you guys have suggestions on more, I guess, optimal army compositions, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I would appreciate your feedback and your input. Alright, so I guess we'll go ahead and use provisions to refill those guys. So now we've just doubled our military strength. So we could theoretically, if we found the right contract, we could help out in some sort of conflict. Like here, for instance, I've not really touched on this type of a job yet, but this is a faction that we could potentially support. So Sheikh Aziz here of Lars, you know, we just recently visited there. It looks like he is trying to rebel against his liege. I'm not entirely sure what his exact... Oh, wait, oh, no, it says it right there. I just need to read it. The Sheikh is fed up with Emir Muhammad of Fars's rule. He sends open invitations for all who oppose Emir Muhammad to join the... So he wants to put himself on the throne. So we could support that. So let's take a look. He has 962 troops, whereas his ruler has significantly more. So that would not be something worth our time, as even though we have elite quality troops, we wouldn't really make too much of a difference. Not with those odds. So we'll revisit those in the future. At the moment, I think the most important thing for us to do is to just build up our war chest and only go to war when we're ready. But it will happen. I really, really want to enter a conflict soon enough. Now, I am curious about this job right here, settle theological disputes. I am not convinced of our chances of success here, but I'm also looking at the potential rewards. And so even just finishing the job normally would be 110 gold, decent amount of prestige and piety, decent amount of provisions. So I don't see a reason why we shouldn't go for it. If we got an exceptional success just by chance, then that would be even better. So let's see what happens. We're going to take a little departure from our usual line of work here. All right, a matter of theology, setting out. Dawn has arrived, and I have assembled an entourage to accompany me to Isfahan Shah Hussein's dwelling over in Kumisha. The horses shift restlessly in place, and I throw one last glance at the camp before heading out. All right, let's go, and we're gonna, of course, adjust our route to get there. We end up going back here every single time. It's kind of crazy. So our departure... Oh, God. Okay, how's this going to work? So what's going to be the best way to do this? Oh, goodness. Should I just abandon this contract? I'm not too sure about this one anymore. Where are we going? Where do we need to... Hang on. Oh, the contract became invalid. Alright, that works. I didn't want to do it anyway. Let's go ahead and do another fight corruption one. It'll be some easy money. What is this? Just get the travel started. Hearts and minds. My friend Vahab. Oh, that's right. He is our friend now. So, right? Did he become our friend? Let me see. Relationships. Friends. Yeah. Fahab is our friend now. And I think we need to make an adjustment. It's been long enough. I think we've humiliated him for enough time. I think I have a little bit, a modicum of respect for him at this point. So let's go ahead and remove him as our stooge. Yeah, I think he'll appreciate that. Now, we could make Naveed our stooge, and I think that just sounds really funny, considering way back in episode 1, I accidentally recruited him when I meant to recruit the other guy. So, I've not really done much with him. I think I appointed him as my bodyguard at one point, super quick, but then, he quickly got replaced. So now, he's the new stooge, and he actually has a good aptitude for it, so maybe we'll get some interesting and very entertaining events with that. It looks like everyone is really well suited to their roles. There's no one that is, everyone is at good, and that's pretty awesome. So, and also, there was one other thing that I haven't shown yet. If we go to this menu here from the camp menu, you can see that our camp temperament is steadfast, and that is due to the fact that pretty much everyone that follows us has a really, really high opinion of us. Whereas only one guy here, Aram, he's complacent, but even that, he's got plus 56 to his opinion of us. So if I, swayed him, for instance, yeah, ski mod's excellent. I'll just kind of get that in the background. I'll get him up to a supporter tier, and that means that everyone is just, fully with us, and what that does is it increases the scheme growth of any contract that we do, makes it go a little bit faster, make it a little bit more successful, and also increases our army toughness, which is our defense. So it is beneficial to have a harmonious camp culture. All right. Any gold we can get. Actually, I'm going to get the 600 provisions here from Hussein, because we're running low on that. And yeah, I think we're going to do the same here with Arif. Let's get that. And cool, that works out. Are we ready for the next camp upgrade, or are we still waiting? No, we just started the Proving Grounds, of course. Okay, now, let's do another Confidence Trickster task. Actually, no, I want to do the Heist Treasury first. This time, I really hope that it does... Oh, no, I'm still traveling, can't do that. Oh, I'm actually doing something right now. I totally forgot I started that contract there. Let's just kind of skip through it. Okie dokie. Oh, hello. So this is Jagdeva's second personality trait. His body's doing something weird there. His head twitched in a strange way. So he's not doing particularly great, and most of that is because of the stupid trait. As you can see, it decreases all of his stats except for his prowess by 4. So you can have a stupid character be an incredibly good fighter, but they're just cartoonishly dumb. It's, yeah, very, very silly. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Today, Isa held a fiery sermon for all of the children of the court. They were apparently spellbound as he zealously read from the Quran. My ward, Jagdeva, keeps telling me about how much he enjoyed the passages about Shaitan, and how he is someone whose ideals he will aspire to emulate. That's the wrong form of whose paradox. Yet, that's not a spelling mistake, that's a grammar error. But anyway, we could have him keep the sadistic trait so he would be just like us, and that would help him with the prowess that he lost after he lost his feral stat. Yeah, I think we do that. Let's have him be an arrogant, sadistic bastard. Let's see, and we'll see how his what his third personality trait ends up being once he's a little bit older. At this point, Vahid is only a year old, and so we don't know how he's going to be. But look at this. He's already got the Traveler trait just by nature of being in our camp. So everybody, and that spreads to every single one of our followers. They all get that simultaneously. So that's really cool. That's one of my, underrated, favorite features of the whole thing. All right. Okay, moving on. I think we can customize our route here just because I don't like the high levels of danger. Can we go this way instead? No, that apparently doesn't change anything. Unless we do this. Okay, it does affect it, but we need to make a slight adjustment. Go this way. And then... Can we do this? Oh, okay, no, that did not work out. Let me keep going. Keep adding detours. Alright, that should mostly take care of that. I can deal with a smaller chance of danger, that's fine. But then from our destination, we'll go back the same direction, right? Yeah, like that. And then this way, and there we go. So that helps out a little bit. It's not perfect, but life rarely is. Toll collectors. We have stayed on the road slightly too long, and the sun is starting to dip below the horizon. Out of the surrounding shapes start to emerge, and form into angry-looking armed features. "This here road has a toll. Pay up," says the biggest and frankly ugliest of the bunch. My friend Vahab steps forward, weapon raised, and looks to me for direction. Okay. So, of course, the toll. No, we're not going to pay it if we can get away with it. So, I could say, perhaps you take the payment in blood. It's a prowess challenge. 11% chance that Vahab dies. 33% chance that he becomes maimed and would end up, I think, losing a limb. So that would put him at a critical health penalty and would give him a massive debuff to a lot of to pretty much everything he's got going on there. Or I could say tolls are for peasants, and I am a boss. 53% chance that they are intimidated, they let me pass. 46% chance that Vahab becomes wounded, and I would gain 7 stress because I'm wrathful. That doesn't really make too much sense for me. Like, why that would be the case? Like, I'm telling the guy to, like, piss off. I think I'm gonna actually go for this one here. Let's see what happens. Wait, oh, well, actually, here. That's another thing. We just had a whole bunch of stuff happen all at once. So first of all, Binar became a novice physician. Second of all, mashallah, mashallah, our first daughter and our second child was born. Look at that. She did not inherit any traits inherently, but she is our second child. So let's go ahead and give her a name. We could name her after her mother. I think Faraz has the capacity to be that sort of sentimental. He's brave. This is all something that happened on the road. They were just they were in the middle of working, like literally in the middle of working. Yeah, why not? Let's name her after her mother. We got to give her something, right? I think that makes sense. Ins and outs. As we trudge down the road, a building hoves into view. The battered sign outside reads, "The Blue Duck Inn." No luck here tonight. We've barely got room for our current lodgers, let alone anyone new. Inside, the innkeeper shakes her head dismissively. "And especially not you ragtag types." Ragtag? Alright, so someone who is craven is trying to be all tough with us here. And so I'm afraid I absolutely require lodging. Your hint is taken with a discount on top. We only paid 5 gold. We got comfortable trappings, which, what did that do for us? Let me take a look at all these modifiers. Comfortable trappings, a small health boost, decrease to our stress gain, and an increase to our provisions capacity for, what is that, 10 years. That's actually really nice. And then, there was something else that I just lost track of, because that's how my brain works sometimes. Okay, it is what it is. Fight corruption, silence or die. Cool, and we excelled at our contract. Looks like something else just popped up there. What is this? Alright. His name is Human. Architect's Digest. Human is lost deep in thought when our entourage enters the quarries of Abada. He is leaned over a large, roughly cut wooden table, absorbed in drawing something on a scroll. I lean in closer over his shoulder, drawing his attention. "My lord, I did not notice you there. My sincere apologies." I inquire about what he is up to, and Human replies, "Oh, I'm drawing up my thoughts on construction and the building of foundations." I am quite the architect, you see, he smiles shyly. So, in fact, I fully believe it. He's got the architect trait. He's quick, so he's got the first tier of the intelligence trait. 24 stewardship is pretty fantastic. Decent learning, too. Decent intrigue. Yeah, all around, he's a pretty good character. It looks like he is part of a noble family. And this is an inventory artifact, so it would give you +1 to learning and a decrease to the construction time for temple buildings. Not something we would ever need, or not ever need, but not something we're going to need for a long time. So we're just going to say, that's nice. Yeah. Goodbye. But something to consider for the future if we see that event going forward. And the proving grounds have just been built. If I upgraded it, it would reduce the recruitment cost of any men-at-arms regiments in the future, and also further increase their damage. So that's 120 gold. The campfire, if we upgraded that, would give us an additional knight, and further increase our knight effectiveness. And then the barber's tent would give us a significant boost to our disease resistance, further reduces our friendly fatal casualties, our plague danger, and increases our income. So that would be a pretty good one to get as well. And I'm kind of tempted to go for it. Could also get an internal upgrade slot for the barber's tent, and including here, which is something that I'm very, very tempted to get, the torturer's tools. We may torture prisoners. We gain an additional +10 to our natural dread, plus 0.1% knight effectiveness per dread, so that would further boost our knight effectiveness even more than it already is, decreases prisoner opinion further, and then, this is the best part about it in my opinion, it increases monthly intrigue lifestyle experience by 25, so I'm going to be gaining intrigue perks even though I'm not focusing on the intrigue lifestyle, and there's a whole series of perks to unlock from there. Each stat has 3 different branches that you can follow, and so, yeah, we've only been seeing these ones here, but there's a whole series of traits and perks to explore. And actually, we're very close to unlocking our next martial perk at that rate. Cool, but I think we get the torturer's tools here within our barber's tent. Now, unfortunately, when and if we ever decide to stop being freebooters and instead become more proper mercenaries, I'm not saying it will happen, if that's what we decide to do, then we will lose this upgrade, so we'll make the most of it while we have it. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and get that building, and we've still got a few jobs that we can take. There's Protect the Innocent. No, we're going to go and rob some rich people. That sounds way more fun. Let's go ahead and boom. Oh, look at that. So we gained 150 learning experience because we passed through an important location. So we're, well, we can't see the map there or, until we get back. Let's go ahead and get on with our task. It's been a little while since we've done a task quite like this, so it feels almost a little refreshing. Hey, and this time we've got Noor on the job with us. Fahab is our thief, and Noor is also a pretty capable thief in her own right. Makes sense, she is a flamboyant trickster. Scout is going to be filled by Hosen here, who's fantastic in that role. Kurashe looks like he's going to be our infiltrator, and as our footpad goes, Shahabuddin is the best fit. So, nice. Let's go ahead and just put that up to speed 5. What is this? A sensual proposal. Oh, no. Wherever I go, my court physician Binar is sure to follow. That look in her eyes, the words on her lips. I know exactly what she is after. So we could say, I will keep her close, very close, and she might become our lover. We'll lay with her, and we might have a child with her. A distraction for tonight, so we could just sleep with her for a single night. We could politely decline her. We could say never. The world will know of her perverted nature. Or I could say, I tire of these games. Leave me alone, all of you. No one will attempt to seduce me for 10 years. Well, she is disloyal. And so if we did sleep with her, there is a chance that she would rat us out, and Noor would obviously be very upset about that. Would we care? I don't know. We're sadistic, but that doesn't mean that we're callous. And Callous is a separate trait in this game, just from a metagaming perspective, if just to step outside the roleplay for a moment. But yeah, it could be interesting. Let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. A distraction for tonight, but nothing more. Alright, under the open sky. Binar and I crouch side by side, the flighty antelope in front of us unaware of our presence. My own attention is unwavering, especially as Binar's blouse brushes against me. When I reach over to embrace her, I find that she has also had her attention elsewhere. As the antelope disappears into the drylands, our naked flesh is already cradled by the soft earth, as well as each other. It was as sweet as it was fleeting. Alright, so that could result in something. It could be nothing at all. We'll just see. Oh my god, seriously? Once again, the heist was canceled. That's so annoying. Because, like, the first heist that we went on, we could have made potentially more money had I gone back and tried to rob the guy further. But it was at the very end of the video, and so I didn't end up doing it. And then every single time we've tried doing one of these contracts since, it just hasn't worked out. Super, super annoying. Alright, let's go ahead and do this protect the innocent job, just to say we had a success. And it's also something we've not seen before. Scout for talent. We've got a 77-year-old, a wise man, with a really bad stewardship considering his education. Honestly, he's more of a learning character. I come across a man while passing through Arajan. He is greedy and furrows his brow as I approach. Attention! I am Behruz al-Juwaini, the captain of the guard of the Arajan garrison. I whip young whelps into shape and organize the shifts of the guards. Everyone relies on me to tell them what to do. I may not be the best, but I am willing, he says. But for a few pieces of gold, I will join your camp. No. Goodbye. And let's get on with our job. Alright, so for muscle, looks like Hosen is our best choice. Not surprised, considering how awesome of a fighter he is. Naveed will also be our muscle here. Shahabuddin will be our outcast. Faramiz, there we go. Let's get everyone's signed. And this should be pretty fast. Honestly, we'll be spending more time waiting for the advantages than anything else, because we're already at the 100%. And there we go. Nice and easy. Making more money. Another willing follower. This guy is also pretty bad. Hit the road. Get out of here. We don't want you. We don't need you. And there we go. So we have the torturer's tools in the camp now. Cool. And I think then I'm going to go ahead and get the upgrade for the Proving Grounds started next. That way our next soldiers will be that much cheaper to recruit. In the meantime, let's do this Confidence Trickster task. This one will be 110 gold, and this one is pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and get the one that is slightly more, because, hey, it's more. And what is this? Oh, Jagdeva's third personality trait. Cool. Alright, so this is where he's going to end up. He ended up with Forgiving by default, so we'll see what our other options are. Today, my ward, Jagdeva, was taught a lesson in vassal management by Moor. Who is Moor? Caliph Al-Mu'taz's chancellor. Okay, I'm not sure how they ended up interacting. It was quite a complicated course, necessary, but perhaps a bit beyond Jagdeva's grasp. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has those days, Jagdeva exclaims. When I rule, I will forgive and let live, so that my realm may prosper. Perhaps he would be a too forgiving ruler. So instead, we could keep him forgiving, we could make him trusting instead, or we could make him patient. Ooh, that's interesting. I think we take the stress hit and instead have him be a patient character. So patient, arrogant, and sadistic. That could make for an interesting overall outcome as he gets older. Alright, what is this? Ooh, hello. Means to an end. I sit by the central fire pit, letting the sounds and smells of the camp wash over me. It's different from a life within the safe walls of a palace. So very different. The freedom is easy to enjoy. No obligations, no counselors, yapping, no dignitaries to entertain, none of the downsides of the trappings of power. Yet, these freedoms are dearly purchased. The constant scraping for survival wears thin. Increasingly, every night I yearn for a proper bed. So we could say, I must claim some lands in the future, and for 35 years we get a lust for land, and that would allow us to have halve the cost of the Adventurer Invasion Casus Belli. So this is if we decided to potentially declare war on someone. Let's just say, well, okay, I can't declare war on someone that I am located within. But yeah, let's say I declared war on my home country, right? Obviously, I would lose. It's not going to go too well for me. But I can do a county invasion, or in the future, once I am a bit more famous and have more prestige and piety, well, looks like we're almost at the piety requirement, but we could potentially take a duchy. If we got even more famous than that, we could potentially take a kingdom. And that, I think, is how we're going to get our land. So if we did that, it would have the cost of that Casus Belli, which would be nice, 35 years. So right now, we're at 27. At that point, that would put us at 62. I think by that point, we would be more than ready to conquer some land and have it be ready for our son, our heirs, probably our multiple sons, depending on how things go. So I'm very tempted to actually click that. Otherwise, I could say I quite enjoy this life, and it will just give me experience in Wanderer, some prestige, and add a couple extra contracts. Or I can just say best to keep my options open, and I get a 65% chance to gain the flexible leader trait, which is actually one of the best commander traits, in my opinion, just overall, and gain 400 provisions. But I think for the roleplay purposes, we are going to have a little bit of a lust for land. That makes sense to me, considering the goals of this campaign. And yet another follower hit the road. Get out of my face. So many useless people that we don't want. Alright. Let's go ahead and get on with this and try our best for success. Our wife is going to be the shill. Alright. Everyone get in there. Get in there. I need not repeat that every single time. And cool. It's going to be a bit of a longer task, actually. So even when we have far more talented people with us, it still looks like it takes a little bit of time. So with this, we've seen this event before, and let's go ahead and try. Which one are we? We did this one last time where we said, hey, let's keep him busy. This time it's a 54% chance, so I think it's a little bit less likely than the first time we saw it. Instead, we could do this one, which is far more likely to succeed. We wouldn't get as much money, which is unfortunate, but we would get 10 experience in Thief versus Trickster, and I just want to see, where is our Thief experience at? So that would actually, I think I'm going to go with this one here, because that would put us up to level 1 in the Thief trait. Right? No, not quite. No, we would need 10 more. Okay. I guess I just did not interpret that information correctly. Who is this? Farhad, another guy. He's actually fairly decent. I would not be opposed to hiring him. So he'd be 50 gold. That's most of what we have. Otherwise, I could pay him in provisions. And I could appoint him as my Master of Arms. Nah, I think we can do better than that. I think we can do far better than that. In fact, is there someone who we could put in that role now? And indeed there is. Aram. He would be excellent as our Master of Arms. Get in there, my friend. So the bonuses that he gets there, that increases our men-at-arms damage by 40% and their toughness by 20%, which, again, just makes already really incredibly powerful troops that much stronger. Okay, so, wow. I can't believe we haven't moved anywhere. I actually fully intended on making a little bit more progress with traveling, but we did kind of do some traveling here. So I think instead of my original plan, I was going to go here and then kind of go around, but instead I think I'm just going to cut straight through and go to Alamut, and that'll be our next location. How many supplies would it take for us to get there? Where is it? So we want this one right here, the Mosque of Alamut. We'll, of course, adjust the route and everything like that, so we can afford to get there without having to worry about anything. But I suppose before we do leave, let's go ahead and try to get some provisions. And it worked out. We got the best outcome there, so we're almost full. What else can we do provisions-wise? I guess we can visit the castle holding one last time. Maybe try to steal once more. Only 126 this time. Let's give it a try. Yeah, cool. So it worked out. We got a little bit more there. But I think we are just about done with this place. I'm getting sick of it. I'm sure you guys are getting sick of it. Let's move on, shall we? So let's adjust where we end up actually going. And go here instead. And I think that's acceptable. 1,500 supplies to get there. Not too shabby. Alright, a follower's heart. Boss for Ozma. Oh yeah, so we've seen this event as well. I could tell Naveed to pay for his own wife. 92% chance we could just convince her to run away. And yeah, why not? There you go. So now Naveed has a spouse. Congratulations. I hope they have some children together. All right, and actually, this just popped up, this notification, and I had meant to bring this up. The intermezzo is about to progress into a new stage. If we look here, we have moved not into concession, but into stabilization. So at the moment, we're just kind of in a transitory period. In 3 months, we'll move on to the next part of the intermezzo, and so we will see what the effects are for that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out. I noticed that the bar had just about filled up, and it fully did fill up. And wow, in all of that excitement, I completely did not notice that I had that martial perk ready to go. Thankfully, I'd not recruited anybody, otherwise we would have wasted some gold there. Alright, nice. Better late than never, I suppose. And we have gotten our first childhood trait, or Vahid has gotten his childhood trait established. He is pensive. My son and heir Vahid is an unusually calm child. When the others play their wild games, Vahid often withdraws to some silent corner. He does not speak a lot, but I can tell he is always thinking about something. I wonder what is on his mind. Cool, so he's not a military-focused character. If he had gotten rowdy, that would have been a way to encourage a martial education. Same thing if he had gotten bossy, but he ended up getting pensive instead. So he has sort of a proclivity for stewardship and learning, which could make for a very, very interesting character. And I think I'm going to put him on a stewardship education. Looking at my own, I have 13 and 12 in learning, so as a teacher, I wouldn't necessarily be too bad, if I'm being honest. I think Faraz would have a relatively easy time, even if he didn't turn out with like the best education overall. I still think it'd have a good chance to be solid. So, thinking about the future investment of the future of the campaign here, considering that we're going to be managing land, we're going to need to make as much money as we can, not through criminal means as much anymore, but rather through actually building up the realm. So focusing on stewardship is going to be a good way to work towards that goal. So yeah, I think Vahid is going to end up being very different. And also, there's a chance that he isn't our leader, our heir at all, because as an adventurer, you are allowed to pick your own heir. Unlike a landed ruler, at least until you unlock primogeniture. Study and martial. Galib, the local captain, and a few of his officers greet me as my entourage enter the military camps of Isfahan. I quickly dismount, eager to inspect the local barracks, positively brimming with activity. I nod, appreciating the organized chaos that I am observing. Now, what would my lord want to do next? Galib looks at me expectantly. So we could say, I wouldn't mind some sparring. It would most likely increase our martial by 1, give us a prestige. I could instead say, what is that contraption? An 85% chance that it would increase my martial. All the same, yeah, let's go ahead and spar. And it was a success. Very nice. What is this? Who is this guy? A witch, and he's ill? I am interrupted from my stroll near the barber's tent by the approach of a nervous stranger, a man who introduces himself as Faramars, and is clearly as alien to Khosran as I. Lord, you and I both know that Asharis are not welcome around here. Doubtless you too have encountered the prejudice that Allah's faithful face in these lands. Momentarily he pauses, steeling himself for a clearly expected projection. I understand if you've already too many people to care for, but if you'll have me, I'll serve you loyally for all your days. He is a novice physician, so he's got that going for him. He's a witch. Honestly, he's not a bad character, but we don't need him. Let's gain that prestige instead. And there we go. We've gained an additional 150 martial experience for visiting the Alamut Castle, and we've got plenty of things to do around here. So first things first, let's visit the holding. At the mosque itself, we've not actually visited a mosque yet. It's all just been castles so far. So let's go ahead and visit here. We've got the healers. So if we were sick, we could go and try to get some treatment here. We can also pay for this artifact, which would increase our fertility by 15%. Not something we're going to do. Let's go to the mosque here. Could make a donation and gain a decent chunk of piety. So if you're a more pious character, then that would be a way to further your goals. Could get a blessing from Allah, and that would increase our piety by 2 per month. And that's pretty cool. It increases our stress loss and our life expectancy. That's actually not bad, honestly. Clearly, I am in need of these donations. Just because I was born a Muslim doesn't mean I'm a good Muslim. So 72% chance that we successfully steal the donations. What would we do? We're not a particularly pious character, although we are steadily, slowly but surely, working towards the next level of faithful. We're working towards faithful. So this blessing, I've actually never seen this before, so part of me just kind of wants to pick it for just to see how it ends up boosting our numbers long term. So this might defy the roleplay a little bit, but maybe Faraz is starting to think a little bit more religiously. We never know. He tends to mostly just think about the coinage, but maybe if only for appearance's sake, he'll search for that blessing. So we could go and take a stroll through a garden and apparently convert to Zaidism. We're not going to do that. Let's try the story or get 22 experience in wit. That's not a bad option either. Where are we at with that? We're already at level 1, right? And then it would take 30 experience. So that would get us most of the way there. So this would increase our learning. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the wit experience. Why not? Zainab. So she... Oh, hang on a second. What is this? Oh, apparently this is who we found attractive. Guess Faraz is looking for them cougars. I suppose. Hey, you know what? If that's his preference, I'm not gonna be judging here. But Zainab is actually the intrigue character. She's got 32. She's an elusive shadow, a schemer. She's loyal, a gallows bait like us. Yeah, so almost level 3 in thief. And apparently she has the possessed trait, which I think means that she suffers from seizures every now and again. And that's how people at this time would have interpreted that. How much would she be to recruit? That's more money than we have. We have a 32% chance to recruit her. Otherwise, we could just get the experience in Thief again. Or no, that would be experience in Thief. Yeah, and we were talking about getting more of that earlier. So, yeah, I don't see why not, honestly. Okay, but that also, obviously means that we're not going to have enough for any recruitment, most likely. So I'm not going to look for it necessarily. But I will try to steal some provisions, and we did. Absolutely. Well done. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to do there. But looking at the time, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it good here, call it an episode. I did not make nearly as much progress as I had planned, but at the same rate, we did finally start building up our military. We've got 200 finely trained soldiers here, and we're going to double that in the next episode. We've still got champions that we can potentially recruit and build out our army more, and we're getting closer and closer to potentially, maybe doing some warfare. I really want to get some warfare done as sooner than later, because it's a lot of fun, and I think we could really make some chaotic things happen. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you left a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would also appreciate that. It helps grow the community and helps grow the channel in the long term. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye!